What's going on, you guys? It's been a little bit. I am currently out today trying to find somewhere to take some pictures and hopefully get a little bit better at my photography skills. I tried yesterday and was very unimpressed with the pictures that I took, so I'm going to go and try and find some spots to take some pictures of even just my car. That was really nice. Good job there, bud. I'm glad you know how to understand the rules of the road. But yeah, I think that's kind of the plan for today. I may end up going and setting up my hammock. I've tried 3 times and it has not worked very well for me. I'm also using the DJI Mic 2 with this setup, so I'm interested to see how this turns out. It looks like it's kind of peaking a little bit, and I'm talking at like just bass volume, so I don't really know how that's going to look, whether it's going to be peaking and it's going to be kind of terrible or what's going to go on, but we're going to give it a shot and see what happens. I have a couple spots that I'm thinking about going to so that I can take some pictures. I really want to get more into car photography, so that's like my main thing that I want to do right now, just because I don't have someone to take pictures of necessarily. But yeah, we're going to give that a shot, see what kind of pictures we can come up with and how they turn out. It's all going to be with the ZVE or ZVE10, ZVE1, whatever it is, to try and take some of these pictures. I really want to get either a I want to get an FX3 for video work and a A7 IV for photography. So that's the goal one day. Right now those are well out of my budget. That is like almost 3 months worth of paychecks, or like a month and a half, 2 months of paychecks to even consider purchasing one of those. So we'll have to see what happens. And unfortunately, it looks like spot number 1 is not a contender for today. It looks like they are having a game at the park that I wanted to go and shoot some photos at, so we're gonna have to try and find somewhere else. I really miss having my truck, I'm not gonna lie, because I really loved being able to just go up into the mountains and take some pictures. The one biggest complaint / unfortunate thing about having a car and trying to take pictures of that, especially with where I live, where it's rural, but it isn't really rural, if that makes sense. Like, it's not really big enough to have the best spots, like that city aesthetic to take pictures and stuff with. And having a car to where you can't really get off-road and get into some of those places, especially with something that isn't super reliable like how my car is, it really kind of stinks, because I'm like, yeah, I want to do this, but I'm not confident enough yet to go out and do it by myself in somewhere this small where I, for some reason, happen to know everyone, even though I feel like I shouldn't. But yeah, I'm not quite there yet on the scale of just being like, yep, we can do this. But we'll just see kind of what happens. I'm going to do a little bit more searching for some spots, and I will catch up with you in a little bit. All right, so I think I found a place. It's a little ways outside of town. All of the parks and everything that I wanted to go to actually had a ton of people in them. So I'm really hoping that I can get some cool shots, because there's actually a big storm coming in over here. So I'm hoping that I can get some cool shots with that coming in, and maybe just because there's a set of train tracks just over here, maybe I can get a train that'll come by and I can get some cool pictures like that. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to go for. As well, for some reason, my steering wheel cover is falling apart, and it makes me feel like I've got bugs just like crawling all over me all the time, and it's really frustrating. So that may end up having to go away, but we'll see what happens. I've also got some people that are like pulling up. Please don't do that. Okay, thank God they turned. And yeah, we're just going to kind of give it a shot, see what happens. You can't learn if you don't try. All right, so got the Pocket 3 currently set up on the car. I can hear a train coming or at least over in the distance. So I'm really hoping that that ends up working the way I want it to. But as for right now, I've got the ZV-E10 set up. It's kind of the rig, just got the microphone on there just because. But I'm really hoping, oh, that's not what I wanted. But I'm hoping with the storm that's coming in the background, it turns out rather nicely. But we'll just kind of have to see. They were given some nasty looks, but yeah, and it's weird. There's actually no wind out here, which is rather unusual for Wyoming, so I am not going to complain about that. I think the hardest part for me is just trying to really figure out like what kind of camera angles and everything like that I can really take with this. Like, I am absolutely terrible at photography, like still super new, have really no idea what I'm doing. That's why I really like the Osmo Pocket 3, is it has made my life a lot easier because I have it pretty much set up to where all I have to do is add some ND filters or maybe add like a little bit of lighting if I'm like at home, but it's not even really that necessary with how good this camera is, so I can't complain. Also, not gonna lie, I really love how the Osmo Pocket 3 syncs with your phone, and it just makes life a lot easier than it almost should be to do a lot of these things. Always gotta wave at the semi-truck drivers, especially the ones like around here that are from this area. Oh, I just realized that the camera isn't following me anymore. Well, I know that that clip turned out absolutely terribly at first. I did not realize that the camera was not following me like it should, because I picked it up and moved it off of the car. But yeah, we'll just kind of have to see how this all plays out. Like, one of my goals is to get really good at photography and things like that. But I don't know. It's strange for me because I know that my skill is not amazing. But the only way to learn is by going out and getting those reps and doing everything that you can to get better. I definitely like being on this side of town. Oh, are you gonna find me again? No, you are not. Oh, you do see me. Oh, the gimbal's just out of how far it can turn. That I've never really understood. The fact that the gimbal only has a certain range of motion, especially on the axis that it's trying to spin at, because I feel like that one should be a full 360. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Don't mind me trying to be as like unnoticeable as possible with the guy that's running by. Like, I know that he has his headphones in, but still not to the point where I really enjoy and want to be seen doing this kind of stuff, you know? But yeah, I don't really know what other shots that I really want. Like, there's a lot of shots that I can take, but at the same time, I don't really know what I can do with it, if that makes sense. I do hear a train coming from the south, which means it should come up past this way, I do believe. And we've got more cars coming. I figured like out here, it wasn't super busy, but it's definitely gotten a little bit busier than I expected it to. Also, to be completely honest, like, I feel... Are you gonna find me again? I also really miss my truck just because of the aspect that with the kind of vehicle it is, it has a little bit more presence, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, it's a little bit more well-known. It's a little better looking, especially than this car. But I don't know. For me, this car does hold a special place in my heart. It was my Madre's, who is no longer with us. So it definitely does hold a special place in my heart just because of that. It's not my truck, if that makes sense. I am also going to turn the noise canceling on, so I don't know if I'm going to sound a lot more robotic now, but the wind started to pick up, and I feel like it would just make a little bit more sense to kick that on to see if it can kind of help negate some of that wind. I do have the whatever the dead cat on top, so that should help. but I don't know. It's one of my biggest pet peeves because I almost care about audio more than I do video. But yeah, I think I would rather listen to somebody that's audio sounds good than take the time to listen to a video where the audio sounds terrible, but the video quality looks good, if that makes sense. I'm completely unsure as to where that train that I heard went, but yeah. I may throw some of these pictures up in the video. I don't know how well they're gonna kind of turn out. I don't have Lightroom or anything. Also, I really wish that this camera would kind of keep me a little bit more towards the top. I've seen a lot of people complain about that, which I understand entirely, but back to the camera, I may try and put some of these pictures in here. I don't know how they're gonna really turn out because I don't have Lightroom. I may have to see if I can get one of my friends with Lightroom to kind of do some adjustments to these pictures, but we'll see. I may just put the raws in there and do what editing I can, if any possible. I don't know. I think it's just good to kind of get out and mess around and see the different things that you can do. So I just had a little heart attack. I'm in here trying to change the lenses on my cameras because I want to try and get a little bit longer range shots. And my biggest fear in life is like wasps, bees, and stuff like that. Like, I'm a little bit gentler when it comes to bees because I know that they're good for the environment and stuff like that. But I still panic and scream like a little girl. And I just don't like them. And I had one literally fly right up into my face. It just buzzed me. So yeah, it makes me panic a little bit and scream like a little girl. So fun fact to learn about me with. Another feature that I genuinely love that I did not know about until about 2 hours ago is that with the... Am I in manual focus? Oh, I am. No wonder these are turning out weird. Another thing I learned about the Osmo Pocket 3 and the DJI Mic 2 is the fact that it will actually start and stop recording just by hitting the link button on the microphone, which I did not know. Yeah, it was kind of cool to find that out. Unfortunately, I don't think that there's going to be any trains coming on by in my time that I'm out here, which really sucks because I was hoping that there would be. Because I would really just like to get a nice, cool picture of a train coming just whizzing on by. But I don't think that's going to happen today, unfortunately. I would also crawl across into the track area to take some pictures, but I believe that's like a felony, or at least like a really bad misdemeanor. Also, in case you didn't know, on railroads, they actually own the air above the tracks. So if you didn't know already, now you do. That's why it's hard for companies to build like bridges and stuff over the railroads, is because the railroad companies like Union Pacific and whatever the other one is actually own the air over the tracks. I'm gonna have to add like a wave counter to this video because I swear I have waved at probably like 300 people. Okay, so the gimbal can follow me in this direction. Wild. It's also weird for me because I'm like, I want the like blurry background, but I don't want it to be just so white and blurry that you can't really tell what even is going on, because that's a big pet peeve of mine. But yeah, trying to balance the aperture, the shutter rate, and the ISO, like at least during the day the ISO can stay at 100. Oh, you lost me again. But yeah, like I know during the day the ISO can stay at 100, but trying to balance the aperture and the shutter rate to make pictures look decent is kind of a pain in the butt, if I do say so myself. At least in my experience, just because I haven't had a lot of time doing it. But yeah, I think with time it will get easier and be better and whatnot, but right now, and the camera lost me again, but I'm gonna take this shot and then honestly might head out. Okay, would you line up a little bit more like I actually want you to? Thank you. But yeah, trying to balance all that has taken a lot for me to try and learn and get used to. But I think we did some good shots. I definitely forgot to bring an extra battery with me, like I even told myself to. But I was more focused on trying to get the... Yeah, I was too focused on getting the Osmo set up and in the car in order to get on this trip than I was to get extra batteries. But yeah, I think that's probably going to be it for taking pictures, because the camera has like 10% battery left and I don't really trust it to try and go somewhere else, because that would really suck to get somewhere, get set up, and then the camera's just like bon voyage. As well as the wind starting to pick up, and I don't know how it's sounding on the microphone. Because I know earlier I wasn't using the noise canceling, as I've been trying to bounce back and forth with it. So yeah, and I'm directly head on with the wind. So I think I'm gonna call this the end for right now, and we'll get home and kind of see what we're working with. All right, so I was just going through the pictures. They aren't like spectacular or anything like that, unfortunately. But I'll post a few of them here in just a minute. But I also realized that I never showed you guys what my lenses are. The first one is the Sony 16-35G f4, which I bought this lens for predominantly like doing vlogging and stuff with my ZV-E10. It's taken a lot of getting used to. I originally had a wide angle, I think it was like a 16 mil or something like that on my camera, but it somehow got scratched or dust in the lens. And so there's like a black dot like right here the whole time. It's right in the middle. It's not even like anywhere that's like you could get away with it. It's right square in the middle. But that's like my main lens. And then the second lens I use is the Sony 24-105 G lens f4. And I got both of these at the same time. I was kind of doing a toss-up because I wanted, I think it was the 16-70 or 24-70, something like that. G2 ProMaster or something, whatever it was. But that lens itself was the same price as both of these. And I was like, you know, I'd rather have two lenses for the price of one, especially just starting out, and have a little bit of extra left over. And that's when I got the Rode microphone that I actually have up on top of this camera, because I was going to use that one for vlogging. But the only problem with that camera is when I hold it like this, it's fine, except I'm like way too shaky, which I'm assuming you can probably see like on the door wells and everything like that. And when I go to switch it into the active stabilization, I think it just ends up cropping in way too much. Like, this is no zoom, like absolutely minimized out, and my arm is fully extended. My arm is literally like 4 foot long. So yeah, it's not my favorite thing, as well as the shutter is like too wavy. But yeah, that's why I stopped using the ZV-E10 as my main like vlog camera, because I want something more than what the camera is really capable of, if that makes sense. I don't like the rolling shutter. I don't like how zoomed in it is when you do use the stabilization. And I would use it more if I could use the wide angle lens that I had. But yeah, there's a whole lot of camera stuff that I don't really know how to explain when it comes to it, but that's why I quit using that as my main one. But when it comes to these pictures, I do like a lot of them. I wish that I could go in and edit them, but just with not having Lightroom and not being skilled in Lightroom, if I had it anyways right now, you're just getting the raw JPEGs straight out of camera. So let me know what you guys think, what things I can do better on them to make them look a little bit more appealing, and just kind of improve my capabilities with the camera, because I really want to get better with it. I want to be able to film cinematic content for you guys and make it look as good as I can. So yeah, we'll just kind of see what happens. But I think with more and more practice, I'll get it down, as well as I'm going to have more time now, so that will be super nice. But we'll just end up having to see where everything goes and what happens. But yeah, anyways, you guys, thanks for coming along and doing this vlog with me. I'm really glad that you're here if you did watch this. But yeah, stay tuned for more content. Leave me some ideas on things that you'd like to see down in the comment section down below. Do you like this photography style content, or would you like something more like just normal day in the life vlog, or try to do something a little bit more cinematic. I'm hoping to do some of those every now and then, get like one a month or something like that, just to get more familiar with it, but we'll just kind of have to see what happens. But anyways, you guys, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I don't know how the audio turned out between no noise cancellation, and now the Osmo's built-in speakers, but if you're somebody that's thinking about picking up the Osmo Pocket 3, use this as kind of your like buyer beware. I'm wanting to make a review on it, but we'll see. I need a little bit more time with it before I can do that. But yeah, you guys, my name is Daniel, and I will catch you all in the next video. See ya.